for other commissioners.
So would you repeat that again?
A tree will be considered hazardous if there is a primary structure or a pertinent or accessory structure within 1 1/2 tree lengths of the base of the trunk. Where not immediately apparent to the administrator, the hazard tree determination shall be made after a review of a report prepared by a certified arborist or forester.
Is that striking the word permanent?
How about, because I could still, a year from now, read that and say, okay, you've told me what that means, as opposed to that that it is not an exclusive list. So you could say something, a hazardous tree will include, but is not limited to conditions where there is a permanent primary structure. Da 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 da.
Yeah, I like that. I kind of like that because it does, these are so site specific. I can think of one out at Cape George that was, some people didn't like it because it blocked the view. Other people thought it might be a hazard. It wasn't near. It was on the bluff. Ultimately, they had a certified arborist come out and look at it, and he thought it ought to be kept. It's still there, Someday that part will go, I'm sure. But ultimately, I wouldn't necessarily. I'd want to leave it up to a professional. The risk of cutting versus the risk of leaving.
Yeah, we just had I had a case near Portage Canal on the shoreline, Fish and Wildlife Habitat, eagle trees. Shelley'd been there with Fish and Wildlife. They were trying to open up view corridors. There was very large madronas hanging over, and it was also a landslide hazard. And so for the stormwater permit required a forest arborist report. They'd actually submitted it voluntarily. And the report indicated that it would be the madrona trees that were very large were overhanging the bank and the existing structure, a cabin to be removed and replaced, and recommended removal through disease. Then when it was cut, it was clear that it wasn't diseased. And the neighbors were very upset over the habitat feature, but we also went with the special report and the professional opinion that it was diseased, and we cut it down. And actually, I think now in hindsight, the owner wished they'd kept it. So the irony is, yes, we followed the professional opinion. Okay, it was submitted with the stormwater permit, and it was, thoroughly vetted through the process.
I also think of walking the shoreline with an expert on shoreline vegetation, and how there were different places where he'd say, cut these trees, because of some of these landslide issues and other things, and other places, keep those trees because of these issues, and it depended on the situation.
And this is a significant change in this new SMP. It's page 6-15, and open up view corridors and maintain vegetation in the shoreline buffer is a significant change.
I tend to like your additions there, which make it a little more flexible, and it does put it in the lap of staff and an expert. You want to call it experts, and I know you can get different experts, but there you go. These are judgment calls, I think, in each and every one of them.
So it sounded like you had a couple of issues with the language that the staff recommended. The first portion was the limitation on the root ball exposure, and then the other is not wanting to limit qualification as a hazardous tree to just that second sentence. So Philip had said it easily, but I didn't quite catch it.
Oh no.
Now I'd like you to say the same thing twice.
So a hazardous tree will include, but is not limited to, conditions where there is a permanent primary structure or pertinent or accessory structure within 1.5 tree lengths of the base of the trunk. And then on the root ball, did you want to just strike the more than 50% and just say a root ball exposed?
Significantly exposed? I don't know. That significant, it ends up going back to what
Expression.
arborist says maybe, or what,
Yeah.
you know. In a dispute about what it means, you know, it goes back.
But again, it leaves it, wouldn't it leave it in the hands of staff or an arborist?
Right.
Or you can just always put it in the hands of the arborist.
Well, I wouldn't want people to have to necessarily hire an arborist where it's perfectly obvious either, you know. That's the other side of that.
Yeah. So I would tend to concur if I had a tree that was leaning a little bit and had 30% of its, a third of its root ball exposed, I'd be darn nervous.
Right.
Yeah.
And you want to deal with that quickly, and some people might not even call DCD first, but if they did, I'd want them to be able to say, go, do it, you know?
Yeah.
It makes sense, you know? And, if everybody agrees, I mean, there's some that are perfectly obvious, you know? Everybody.
So significantly exposed.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're giving you a lot of judgment there.
So if I could read what I think I heard. Hazard tree means any tree that presents a risk to persons or property due to a high probability of falling in the near future because of a debilitating disease, a structural defect, a root ball significantly exposed, or having been exposed to wind throw within the past 10 years. Hazardous trees will include, but are not limited to, conditions where there is a permanent primary structure or a pertinent or accessory structure within 1 1/2 tree lengths of the base of the trunk. Where not immediately apparent to the administrator, the hazard tree determination shall be made after review of a report prepared by a certified arborist or forester.
Is that going to be unadministerable for you? It is.
No, he said
Is it gonna be
Oh, delete the un.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Well, it's first going to come under the code provisions. She's first going to read 615 and 616 and see the policy direction, and then see the regulations. Then the term hazard tree comes up in view maintenance, but she has specific standards already to review, 25%, 25%. So that's going to dominate her examination of this request. And then she's going to get to the point of hazard tree, and then go to the definition.
Where does it say 25%?
616 B3.
I think there is an exemption in the critical areas ordinance for removal of a hazard tree. I don't have that with me.
There's nothing on that page that says B3.
Are you in DCD or Planning Commission?
I'm on one dated August 20th. What lines?
PC. There we go.
I'm in the Planning Commission.
Okay, let's try that again. How about, well, yeah, 617, 618,
Oh, okay. Okay, now I see it.
View maintenance,
I see it now.
and
pruning and trimming, and tree removal.